Welcome back to the Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Gulseth.
Today we have the privilege of visiting with the new president of Lutheran Women's Missionary League, Debbie Larson, and just excited to share stories, learn stories about LWML and Debbie's involvement with LWML as well. Thank you so much for being our guest in the studio.
Thank you for inviting me, Andy.
Well, tell us, let's go back a little bit in time. Debbie, what do you recall being your first impression of LWML, first memories of LWML?
That's a really good question. I did not get involved with the LWML until 1996. I had been in various women's organizations throughout in different churches, but when we moved to Bismarck, North Dakota, I saw that the LWML was looking for a newsletter editor, and that's what I had done. So I called them and said, I'd be interested. And in order to be their newsletter editor, you needed to actually attend their district meetings. And so I immediately got very involved. And at any level of the LWML, I think that once you go and participate, you're just taken in with the possibilities there are to glorify God and serve God and reach out to the mission field without actually having to, go to Cambodia. So it was then, and that's how I did that.
So you started as a newsletter editor. You got drawn in. What kept you excited and energized about the work of LWML?
Well, I think the women, that you have this wonderful network of sisters in Christ that are always there for you. Whether you're right or wrong, they stand beside you. They hold you accountable, which is a wonderful thing. And then when my son married, I invited my daughter-in-law. And I remember taking her to the first retreat. And each person I met, I would say, you have to meet Marlene. She's my favorite. Oh, come over here. You have to meet Lois. She's my favorite. And my daughter-in-law said, stop. Everybody can't be your favorite, but that's not true in the LWML. Everybody can be your favorite.
What is that like to have a community of women, that share the same faith, that you're able to kind of just be together and share the gospel with each other? What is that like to have that community around you?
I think it's empowering because that you can just talk about your faith. And I think what we do is we equip women to feel so confident in their faith that even when they're not around women of the LWML, even when they're not in their church, but when they're out in their community and out in the world, they can boldly share their faith. And just the fact that we have that support system is absolutely fantastic.
Since you've taken office as president of LWML, what are some of the things that you've been learning and seeing happening in LWML that you want to share with us today?
It's funny. We have been, I was elected the end of June, so we are about 6 months into our biennium. We choose our chairman we have 13 different committees under 5 vice presidents. We choose that in October. So just since that point, they have already just taken over, and they are all anxious to serve, developing programs. We have podcasts. And if you have not gone to our podcasts, the easiest thing to do is to go to our LWML app. And just click on the podcasts, and they're wonderful. We do Praying the Psalms. We're doing short devotions. When you're out walking, you should be listening to those podcasts. We are, like I said, 6 months in. We don't accept any requests for mission grant funding until November 1st. That gives the ladies time to give their donations and their gifts, their mission gifts to the LWML. We have already paid out 5 of our mission grants. We have 21 for this biennium. We've already paid out 5, totaling $445,000, and another just under $100,000 was just approved to be paid yesterday. Wow. So just thinking about that that those funds going into the hands of missionaries to spread the gospel is more than exciting.
Absolutely. What are some of the things that you've learned taking this new leadership role? What are some of the things you've learned in this position just about how to serve each other with the gospel?
What have I learned? It's funny. I think the biggest surprise for me was that I don't get to just go out and serve and talk about missions. There's a lot of weeds. There's finances. That it's a large organization, and so I think that I didn't realize that there were so many different aspects, but the joy is still talking to people about this wonderful organization of LWML and sharing the possibilities.
You mentioned paying out some of the mission grants already.
Yes.
Share with us some of those stories, some of the work that the LWML is able to do.
We have when we had about 90 different mission grants that were chosen by the Mission Grants Selection Committee. Those were the applications. We narrowed that down to, I think it was a little over 30, and then the delegates of the convention picked 21. They chose 21. They vary from everything from those in the United States to around the world, music, mission grants to mission grants that deal with mercy. Across the nation.
What are you looking forward to in the years ahead? We get the chance to talk with you a little bit today because you're here for the Making Disciples for Life conference, which is part of the LCMS Office of National Mission, and equipping and also listening to the needs of pastors and laity and lay leaders of our church body, and so you get to share here at the Making Disciples for Life conference. But what are you looking forward to in the year ahead? What are some of the things you're sharing at the Making Disciples for Life conference, and what are you looking forward to in the year ahead with LWML?
Thank you. I am looking forward to talking and having a roundtable discussion, just sharing what LWML is and what we do. I think that, as always, communication is key. That we can do whatever, we can develop programs at the national level, and that's not going to do any good at all unless you reach each church body and the women in those church pews and let them know and be equipped to get excited about the work that they can do. We work with mission service, mission inspiration, mission education, and mission giving. Those are our four objectives, basically. So what do I hope? I guess my prayer is that every woman of the LCMS centers her life around Christ. And, if we're held by His Word, if we take advantage of all the opportunities we have to study His Word, that will give us the confidence, and we will be inspired then to share that Word, because nothing that good can be kept to yourself. And we can do that with confidence because if we mess, we don't have to worry about messing up because we are surrounded by God's grace. And again, that is in the Word. And so my prayer is that each woman will do that, to step boldly out and share Christ.
What are some of the ways that women of all ages can get involved with LWML?
We have everything from children's mite boxes, so that even in Sunday school or in their own homes, they can put their little coins in those mite boxes and realize that they are supporting someone and sharing Christ with someone maybe across the world. We have, of course, the Committee on Young Women, and we have our Heart to Heart program, which is all of those different cultures. And I think that is going to be a huge opportunity to open up more communication with women everywhere. And we never, ever want to forget about the women that have been with us for the last 70 more years, and take advantage of their expertise and never forget the wonderful history that we've been given.
Absolutely. Do you have encouragement for women who maybe aren't involved in their LWML group and are maybe thinking about it but aren't sure that it's the right thing for them or the right place for them? What is your encouragement for women to get involved in their group?
Every woman, any age, any culture, needs to feel like they belong. I don't believe you need to. Being independent is fine, but you need to know that you belong and that you're loved, and you can do that whether you participate in the meetings or not. You can go to one servant event. We have a program called the Mailbox Member Program, where you may they may hold their Bible study time each month in your local group, and you may not be able to go. You may be working full time, but you can still get the Bible study put into your church mailbox or emailed to you. So the encouragement would be to reach out, go to the website, talk to their local LWML group, and get involved even at the most minimal level so that they know that they're important, and that just as important as any other woman, that they are a child of God.
A lot of work happening on the local level, day to day, week to week, month to month. The LWML meets in national convention every 2 years, right? So
Right.
The next one would be in?
The next one's in Lexington, Kentucky, June of 2021.
2021, Lexington, Kentucky. That's not too far.
No.
Not too far from
It's
here.
not.
LWML. It has been a pleasure to visit with you today. Debbie, thank you so much for being our guest on the Coffee Hour. Debbie Larson, President, Lutheran Women's Missionary League. Thanks for being a guest.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're listening to the Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Golseth.
The Coffee Hour with Andy and Sarah is a production of KFUO. To support the Coffee Hour and KFUO Radio, visit KFUO.org. You can also text KFUO to 41444 or send an email to gifts@KFUO.org. And you can call us at 800-844-0524. KFUO. Christ for you, anytime, anywhere.